My name is Maddie Hong. I am an AI artist for the Bends. I've been on a couple projects at this point, both stuff that are longer films that I've directed with teams or stuff I've done on my own.
All right, so let's jump into the Bends and talk a little more about the film itself. How did you use AI tools to shape the visual world of the film?
So for the Bends, Tiffany came in with this amazing creative vision and all of her experience as an artist, as an animator. I was part of the look dev phase where I was translating a lot of her sketches and her storyboards into the photorealistic world of the Bends using AI. I was developing that look with her and also figuring out how we prompt that look with the right trigger words, the right lighting conditions. When it comes to how do we work with AI on a professional level, people are still figuring that out. So I really love just like the energy on the team and the collaborative spirit that everyone has brought to this project.
Can you talk about the different tools you used on the production and how they were used?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So on the production, we used a lot of different tools. For image and video, we used Google Imagen, Google VO, and Kling, and ChatGPT, and I use Runway for their references tool quite a bit for compositing. And then also, like, more traditionally, did a lot of Photoshop work to create these starting keyframes. We also use a lot of tools for project management, like ShotGrid.
How do you begin a project when you're working with generative AI tools?
I think when it comes to starting the project, it all starts with the creative vision, like it does, I think, any other project. But more so with AI, because there's just so much unlimited choice, having that very solid singular vision driving everything is the most important thing. So having something like concept art or storyboards, narrowing down the options and guiding the artist, I think is super important.
What separates a strong prompt from a weak prompt?
I think what's important to remember is that prompting isn't a science. There's no playbook really to it. I think what separates a weak prompt from a strong prompt is that ability to be really intentional about each of the words you're putting in the prompts and what you're asking from the image or video model. It's not just describing what you're seeing in the image, but also how it looks overall, how it makes you feel, the color, the lighting, the position of the camera.
When a piece doesn't come out the way you want, how do you troubleshoot or course correct?
Well, for the Bends, we're living in a very specific world and we're trying to be naturalistic. There is a lot of fighting with the AI because AI at this point still struggles with continuity, with living within the same world, like even just getting a shot and a reverse shot of that same scene. If the images don't come out exactly how I want from the beginning, then I'd usually go back to my skill set as like a video editor, motion graphics designer, and pull everything into Photoshop and try to comp in the pieces that I want into that image. Or I start to think creatively about the shot itself. Often I was abandoning one tool and moving on to a different one just to get exactly what Tiffany was wanting.
At what point do you think that traditional 3D CG iteration achieves the goal more than AI?
I think what AI is great at is getting very quickly to an idea and a concept in a way that saves a lot of time for the artists. What it's not great at is doing things that are very original, especially when it comes to shot composition or original characters. So oftentimes there are certain shots where sort of a weird angle that were difficult to achieve with just the AI image model. So I think at that point, it would be great to go back into the traditional workflow of living in 3D and being able to manipulate a camera.
So zooming out a bit, what do you think people misunderstand most about using AI in creative workflows?
What people misunderstand the most is that they think that creating something with AI is just sitting down at a computer and prompting all day. Most of my time spent on this project was communicating with the director to understand her vision, was looking at shots, breaking down shots, and also not just living within the tools, like just not just prompting, but also like taking images, manipulating those images, bringing them back into various different tools in order to achieve what I was looking for. So I think people think it's like you go into ChatGPT and you're just typing away all day, and that's really only like 20% of the process.
So looking ahead, how do you think the role of AI artist is evolving?
I think it's funny because the term AI artist probably was not in the public conversation up until like a year ago. Like the term AI artist just feels like such a broad term. It's like, what does it mean to be a painter? When I started, it was just trying to understand the tools a bit more. But now over time, it's become kind of like a production role or a creative role. And I think what we're going to see with AI artists is that it's going to be a person who is kind of like a unicorn. It will just be the type of person who is really excited to just like be across everything in the creative project versus how we've seen it in the past where like in traditional production you get very siloed into a role.